Ni Una Menos, a movement for women's rights by Makenna, Melendez, and Krisha Patel.
In Argentina, one woman is killed every 32 hours from sexual assault. Ni Una Menos is a movement that began in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 2014 and ended in 2016. It brought attention to the government's shortcomings in upholding women's safety. During this period, women advocated for their rights, demanding that their rights should be respected.
30 years before this movement began, the dirty war was waged by Argentina's military dictatorship. Around 10,000 to 30,000 citizens were killed. Many of them disappeared, being seized by authority and have never been heard from since.
The Mothers of Plaza de Mayo, an association of women with lost children and grandchildren, began calling attention to the issue of the disappeared persons through weekly Thursday afternoon vigils in the Plaza de Mayo. Women were ignored and denied the right to know what happened to their children.
In 2015, Chiara Paez, who was a 14-year-old girl, tragically lost her life. She was brutally beaten to death by her 16-year-old boyfriend because she was pregnant and wanted to keep the baby. This inspired the movement called Ni Una Menos, which means not one less.
Paez's murder was the start of a small protest, and this protest led to many other protests, evolving into a hashtag on social media, making it widespread. On June 3, 2015, the movement called for massive marches across the country to demand justice for victims of femicide.
Around 200,000 people mobilized to express their dissent in the capital of Buenos Aires. For too long, women's voices had been ignored and their rights poorly upheld. Femicides are reported to show that 64% of women were murdered by their partners or ex-partners, and 64% of these murders occurred inside the victims' homes.
Otro 3 de junio, otra vez, ni una menos.
Y hubo marchas en todo el país. Fue el tercer año consecutivo. El 3 de junio fue el día de protestas contra la violencia machista.
Como vemos, la movilización más grande partió en principio del Congreso, llegó a la Plaza de Mayo, donde se realizó el acto central y con la principal consigna que apuntó a la responsabilidad estatal en la violencia de género.
Además, se pidió por la liberación de Eva Analía Igui de Jesús, detenida por matar a un hombre cuando buscaba defender.
A former president of Argentina, Néstor Kirchner, enacted Law 26485 in 2009, which was passed through legislation for gender equality. Law 26485 was created to protect women in public and private relationships.
It defines violence as anything that affects women's physical or psychological well-being. Despite the laws having been enacted, the government does not enforce them well enough to have the desired effect.
Los puntos que contempla este petitorio tienen que ver con recursos necesarios para el plan contra la violencia de género que fija la ley 26.485. También con asegurar personal idóneo en fiscalías y comisarías para recibir denuncias y darle a las víctimas un patrocinio jurídico gratuito. Además, crear un registro oficial único de casos de violencia de género, garantizar la educación sexual en todos los niveles educativos y posibilitar el monitoreo electrónico de los victimarios.
As the video said, the points contemplated in this petition have to do with the necessary resources for the plan against gender violence. Victims should be guaranteed suitable personnel in prosecutors' offices and police stations.
Sexual education should be guaranteed at all levels of education, and electronic monitoring of the perpetrators should be permitted in accordance with Law 26485.
Per Law 26485, the victims are provided with a beeper to press when they are in danger. The beeper notifies someone in a position of power that they need help from the police department. More often than not, once the person who requires the beeper to be pressed is seen, it is too late, and she may be dead before authorities arrive. It is the responsibility of the government to be readily available for the woman in need.
Throughout history, even from the 1970s to now, women's voices have been overlooked and drowned out. From the mothers of Plaza de Mayo to the women marching for Chiara Paez, it is exemplary of how the government is neglectful of its responsibilities to women in the country, leaving them prone to genocide just because of their gender.
Women no longer tolerate the ignorance of the government and have begun to speak out in Argentina, as there should be not one less.